Hello, ladies, and welcome to A Trimming We Will Go. I'm Coach Angela Mole with Trim Through Grace LLC. I'm going to be your dairy-free / dairy-light coach for the next 5 weeks. Coach Mama Fox, Coach Deanne, and myself, we are so excited that you're here, and we're going to bring you some information on dairy-free, dairy-light, anti-inflammatory, and a gut-healthy approach to the holiday season with Trim Healthy Mama. We are our overarching goal for this group is to help you protect the progress you've made, maybe even make a little bit more progress during the holiday season, and do so with confidence and a plan of attack. Because Thanksgiving is behind us. We think of that as the big food holiday. But when you look at Christmas, well, between Thanksgiving and New Year's, really, that whole time, you have parties, you have family gatherings, you have times where you're going to be going out shopping with your friends. You may even have some family traditions that are food-centered, and you need to be able to approach those and navigate those successfully with confidence and a plan of attack. Okay, so that's what our goal is for this group, for each of you. So we're going to bring information and encourage you, and maybe even have a little bit of fun along the way. So let's get started with dairy-free, dairy-light this week. With the idea of protecting your progress, I want to give you just some very basic dairy-free information. I've got a few documents that I'm going to be giving you down in the guides. One is a list of the source of dairy. This list comes from Food Allergy Research and Education. They go by FARE, F-A-R-E for short. They're one of the leading organizations for this type of information for any of the top 9 allergens. So feel free to go and check out their website. And if you have any kind of dietary restriction and you need that kind of information, they've got a lot there. So so that list, if you look at it, there's one thing on there that might have you kind of scratching your head, and that's non-dairy. Why would non-dairy be a source of dairy? Well, because the U.S. government has said that anything with a certain percentage of dairy can still be listed as non-dairy. It means it contains dairy in it. It's not dairy-free. So anytime you see non-dairy, it's not the same necessarily as dairy-free. Sometimes they are dairy-free, but you have to really be aware and read that ingredient list and know what you're looking for, which is what this list gives you, the things to look for. And usually for non-dairy items, it's usually casein. That's usually what's in the food that keeps it from being dairy-free. But you really only need to worry about that list if you have a full-blown dairy allergy, or for inflammation reasons you have to be totally dairy-free. Most of us fall into that dairy-light category, and we don't need that list. Our son has an anaphylactic allergy. My husband and I have medical conditions that require us to be dairy-free for inflammation reasons. So we have to really adhere to 100% dairy-free. Another thing I'm giving you this week is a list of dairy-free alternatives. It's a very short list. There's actually 2 lists. I want you to think of this as kind of a good, better, and best. Okay, I could give you that good enough list, but I didn't. I'm giving you the better and the best. The top list is the best. These are the best options for if you need to use a dairy-free alternative. And the next list down is your better list. So coffee creamers, nut pods, Califia Farms, and there's also a recipe in Trim Healthy Future. Those are going to be your best options for dairy-free creamers. And then, like with butter, using the good healthy oils that are on plan, those are your best options for a butter replacement or a butter alternative. Those are your best options. Your better option, which not better than those are the best, but better than those good enough things, is by Country Crock. They have plant butters, and one of them is made with avocado oil, and it's a better option than many of the dairy-free alternatives out there. So that's what that list is, and so we want to protect your progress. So let's focus on those instead of those other ones that I could have given you. The cheese that I've given you on that best list, those are found in the 2015 cookbook, and they don't taste like cheese, y'all. I'll just be honest with you. But all of the dairy-free alternatives that are in stores, at best, they are personal choice. They all contain either bad oils or they contain starches. And so you have to be really careful with those. And even if you do use them, you need to use them very sparingly and not often. So the other thing I want to talk about on this list before I move on is the yogurt. Dairy-free yogurts are very low in protein. So if you're trying to use them instead of Greek yogurt, you need to be aware of this and be prepared to add protein, because there is little to none in Kite Hill yogurt. I think there's 6 grams of protein in Kite Hill yogurt, and there's none in So Delicious. That's why I didn't put So Delicious on this list. But just wanted you to be aware of that. You can also add quinoa to your yogurt, and that works pretty well. So moving on to the third document I have for you this week, and that is a list of nutrients that is normally found in dairy products. And you have to keep in mind when you're going totally dairy-free that you are eliminating an entire food group. Yeah, it was just recently I really came to think of that in that term. You're removing an entire food group. You're not just removing, like with gluten. You're removing one grain or one set of grains, but you're not removing all grains. You're still getting some grains from like rice and oats. But with dairy, you're removing an entire food group. And so you have to kind of be mindful and respectful of those nutrients that you're removing from your diet, and make sure you're getting them from other sources. The good thing about Trim Healthy Mama is most of us already are doing that. If you look at that list, you'll see a lot of vegetables, nuts, and seeds are in there as sources for those nutrients that you have removed from your diet. So just by being on plan, you don't really need the dairy. It's nice to have once in a while. I mean, even as someone who's totally dairy-free, I will admit it is nice to have a little dairy once in a while if you really enjoy it. But it's not necessary, because we're getting those nutrients from other sources. I know whenever I tell people that I'm dairy-free, one of the first things I hear is, well, how are you getting calcium? Look at that list. Spinach and almonds. Those two right there are extremely high in calcium. And so by making sure I get in almonds and spinach fairly often, guess what? I'm getting my calcium. So that's just something to keep in mind. I just wanted to give you that list for information purposes. I found that fascinating and interesting that most of those foods on that list, it's foods we eat, including fish. I used to not eat fish. Many of you know that. I was not a fish eater. Still don't really love it, but I tolerate it. I know it's good for me, and so I eat it. I now eat to live, not live to eat. And so yeah, that list, I was quite shocked at how often salmon specifically popped up. So Um, I've also given you a recipe. That's the last thing I've got for you this week. Is a recipe called Kitchen Sink Casserole. I was just throwing dinner together one night. I started out, I was making Spanish casserole, which is just rice and beans and salsa and ground beef. And I had a really good lean ground beef I was using. And so I decided it was too many carbs, so I pulled back on the amount of rice and subbed in cauli rice. And then in the process of getting everything together, I saw a handful of vegetables in my fridge that needed to get cooked up. So I threw those in. And when I was done, I looked at everything I had put in there, and I realized that with the exception of selenium and I think it's magnesium, everything in that recipe just about was on that list of um, those nutrients. So so yeah, that recipe is available down in the dairy-free recipe section guide of this group. So that's it. That's all I have for you this week. I hope that it's helpful for you if you're contemplating going dairy light for the holidays. That kitchen sink recipe, if you look, there's a note there on how to make it dairy light by adding a sprinkle of cheese. So, which is fine. It's fine if you're going with a dairy light approach. You will protect your progress that way. Before I sign off here, I want to say one more thing about our progress. You know, our progress, it's more than just a number on the scale, a clothing size, or a number on the tape measure. Sometimes the most progress we can make, especially this time of year, it happens up here. It's in our mindset. Because I know there's been times in the past for me this time of year. It's been kind of I'll get back to it in the new year. You know, I'll allow these certain treats and things, and I'll get back to it in the new year. I want to challenge y'all to not do that this year. That's why you're here. You're not here to give up. You're here to protect your progress. Maybe even make a little more. And let's finish this year on a high note, so that we are starting next year on that high note. Okay? So, nothing worth having is ever easily attained. So, let's all work hard to protect that progress. And if you have any questions about dairy-free or dairy light, feel free to comment below, and I will get to them as quickly as I can and answer them. And I think that's it. So y'all have a great rest of your week. I hope you enjoy the rest of the things we have planned for this week with some fun posts, and you're going to get a lot of information from Coach Mama Fox and Coach Deanne still. So yeah, it's going to be a good week, y'all. Let's make it count. So I'll see y'all next week. Bye.